Well, it must be 2 o'clock in the Mile High City, and it's a Thursday, May 7th. Welcome to the Modern Eater Show, broadcasting live from Molly Spirits right here on Arapahoe Road and I-25. It's their Greenwood Village location, and we're going to do the show from here today. Jay Parker and myself, Greg Hollenbach, are here, and Larry Herz are going to join us down here. And just a beautiful day, spring day. And as everybody is anxious to reboot and get businesses up and running, safety is still at the forefront. We've got a lot of lively conversation, but we're going to get right to our guest. She's standing by. Her name is Chef Caroline Glover from Annette. And I think that all of you, if you haven't eaten at her restaurant, you'll be anxious to, because on the short list of the James Beard Awards finalists, Best Chef Mountain West category, and with great company, with Dana Rodriguez and Kelly Whitaker and Chef Carrie Baird, sits Caroline Glover, and she should definitely be there for sure, Jay. Just a great chef, and the more that you learn about Caroline, the more that you love her.
Mm-hmm. And I have to admit, I didn't know too much before other than what you hear around the campfire, but looking into her and what she's done and what she's doing over at Annette is really impressive, and it's nice to see.
Some people would call it research. Other people would call it Facebook stalking.
Yeah. Well,
I was doing a little bit of research, let's just say.
It's kind of a little bit the same nowadays, all
and
right?
We're going to get right to our guest in a moment, but I was so moved by this. A photo that Caroline took of herself, and a selfie to mark the time, the day and age that she was living in, the moment that she was feeling these emotions. Next to this, the caption writes, "I took this photo a couple of weeks ago. It was to remind me how low it can get, how sad and scary I can feel. It was my first time in the restaurant by myself, just sitting since the shutdown curbside. I'd just gotten off the phone with my dad where I had wailed, 'I just can't see the future. I'm so scared.' And he gently reminded me that nobody can see the future. We have to manifest and create what we want. Today, our little restaurant made the short list for the Beard Foundation for the first time. And I sure didn't see that happening. And I sure can't see what else is next. But I'm so damn proud of my team and what we've accomplished. These are weird times, and celebrating seems off. But damn it, we're going to celebrate this small victory and then put our heads down and keep going." That's when we'll enter with our guest now, Chef Caroline Glover. Welcome to the Modern Eater Show.
Thanks for having me.
Woo! I got to wipe off those goosebumps right there. Talk about that moment in time.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird. I felt like the floodgates were just finally opening for the first time. I think we were 3 or 4 weeks in, and we were kind of getting a rhythm, but I felt like getting a rhythm didn't feel right either. I didn't want to. I don't want this to feel normal. And, there's just a lot of talk of what futures of restaurant, what it looks like. I'm on the board with the IRC, and so we spend every other morning talking about, the PPP and the stabilization fund, and there's just so much, and it's so heavy, and I lost it. I couldn't keep going, and my dad got mad at me for posting that picture. He was like, that's too vulnerable. You don't want people to think that you're that sad. And I'm like, I just think everybody's in the same boat right now. And it opened up a lot of conversation.
Sure did. And you just said, I lost it. You know what, Chef? I think you found it. You found it just then.
Yeah. No, it was just definitely a moment of needing to let gates open and recognize that we're terrified, we're scared, and let that come out, and then kind of pick it back up and go.
Yeah, team effort for sure, right?
Yeah, big time.
Team effort. First of all, before we dig in, congratulations, the short list. 4 remaining and in great company. I'm sure you'd be happy with any one of those names coming up. And let's keep it in Colorado, right? I mean, we all love the Colorado.
I mean, specifically Denver. We kind of crushed.
Right, absolutely. So with Dana Rodriguez and Kelly Whitaker and Chef Carrie Baird, Best Chef, Mountain West category. Your initial thought, you're probably like, why me, right? I mean, everybody does that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes at such a weird time, too. It caught me off guard. And I felt, super excited at first, and then kind of an overwhelmingly sense of sadness. Just because this should be a really, really big moment for us, and it is still, but celebrating just, it feels hard. It feels really hard to celebrate right now, and that is a shitty feeling.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'll all make sense at some point. We don't know now, but I think it'll all make sense, and maybe that bittersweet right now. Maybe it'll hold off on that. Let's dig in. Where are you from?
So I'm from College Station, Texas. If anybody doesn't know, that's home of Texas A&M. That's basically what's there.
Yeah.
So born and raised there, and then I moved to California around age 19 or 20.
What part?
So I moved to Yosemite National Park. I went backpacking for a summer out there, and came home and packed up everything and just moved out there. And I worked at the Ahwahnee Resort, lived in a WAB, which is a cabin without a bath. Really got all my drugs and alcohol and everything out in a pretty short stint. And I met a bunch of guys out there who were going to the Culinary Institute of America, and they're on their externship. So I hopped in the car with them when they went back, and I went to school in Hyde Park.
What were you looking for on that journey, and did you find it?
Yeah, I did. I went to Texas Christian University in Fort Worth for 2 years, and it was the first school I applied to. I just went. I didn't know anything about it, and I just didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't click with anybody necessarily. I didn't feel like I was supposed to be there, and so I had a lot of anxiety. I went home for the summer, went backpacking, and my dad, who is the wisest person I know, just said, "You seemed really happy out there. Why don't you move out there? Why don't you find a job out there?" And, I think I just needed that space. I needed that space to feel who I was without any judgment. And Yosemite, there's no better place. I mean, it's full of the freaks and geeks. Like, it's the best place to kind of I was 19, 20, and then left when I was 21. So it just provided a platform for me to find myself without a lot of outside pressure. And I feel like that's a really rare thing to do.
Yeah, and when your dad gives you the nod, you kind of have that certain, like, okay, I'm cool. Someone's got my back. I trust him. I'm going to go do this, and he was there with you the whole time, I would imagine.
Totally. I mean, I grew up in a very conservative family, and so to have a dad say that who is pretty strict, looking back on it, I must have been in a pretty low place for him to feel like this could be a good thing for me, but it's probably one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Isn't it amazing how life turns out to be so sequential? It's just, you don't know why it's in that order, but for some reason you just look back and go, well, that was meant to happen, and that was meant to happen.
Absolutely. And I feel like I was talking to my dad on the phone this morning, and he was like, "You're going to look back at this in a year. There is a reason for this." And I feel like that's something that I'm trying to keep close, because you got to have something, or what we're doing right now, it doesn't feel like there's an end in sight.
Yeah, could have never imagined this year. I mean, what was it, April of last year, 2019, you were celebrating another victory. Was it Food and Wine who offered you that accolade as well, just over a year ago?
Yeah, exactly. They're about to announce the new class, and I met them a couple of weeks ago on a Zoom, and I was, feeling so sad for them because it was such an incredible moment in my career. And then this James Beard thing happened. I'm like, okay, I'm in the same boat as them.
Yeah. I find you to be such a pioneer in what you do and your thought processes. It really resonates with me personally, and someone I've never met you face to face, and I really can't wait to do that. But you were so ahead of the time with some thought process. And I'd like to think that I'm a progressive thinker as well, but we'll get into it. Some wages, the disparity from the front of the house to the back of the house. You ripped the Band-Aid off long before COVID, and now these conversations are taking place. We just spoke with Hosea Rosenberg yesterday, and chef up in Boulder said this is something that is very important. The time is now. We need to bridge that gap, and this is something that's been on your mind for quite some time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it is really interesting hearing people talk about, different things that they're going to implement, which I think is great. I think as an owner, I never really saw checks. I never saw front of the house when I was back of the house. I never wanted to know how much they made. But as an owner, I felt like I had a responsibility to try to bridge that gap. And you see how many tips are coming in, and you see how everybody helps each other out, and it just doesn't feel right. So I felt like that, there were a few people who thought that was crazy, because servers do upsell things, but in a restaurant this small, everybody helping everybody out, I think we should all be on the same playing field.
You've always been that family type of person, and I think if you look at it from that mindset of we're all a family, you would agree that there's no one family member that's more important or less important. They all carry their own weight in a certain way, but it all makes it work. If one person doesn't show up for their shift or their job that day, I mean, you can see how that throws a monkey wrench in everybody's plans.
It does, and I feel like instead of just pigeonholing people and saying this is what you're doing, like the phrase like above my pay grade, not my job, like that's whatever, I've said it, but it's irritating. And I think when you say, hey, we need somebody to help in the dish pit for a second because our dishwasher's doing something else, you're making the same money, so you can go help that person out. So I think that was really important to me, to try to break down that language that happens back of the house. And trust me, it still happens. I mean, it is a system that's like really, it's been in place for a really long time, so it's hard to break down those barriers. But I think this is the first step to it.
And I know that the labor pool was very, very slim pre-COVID, right? Transient workers. Whatever happened to the day where a respectable career, right? Working in the restaurant, I mean, very respectable career, something that you could really put your stake in. And I think that more often than not, the confines of slim margins, your overhead, there are all kinds of factors that play into why there was that big division. But now bringing it back together and making it all make sense, do you still feel the same way when the labor pool will be wide open post-COVID? Will you still have that same thought process?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I mean, I think a lot of people who choose to work at Annette are looking for more of that type of environment. That's what we've kind of found out. I mean, we lost a lot of front of the house. I mean, I didn't realize how big of a pay cut it was to go from, I didn't realize people are making 55, 60 an hour to 35 an hour. In my mind as a cook, I'm like, oh, 35 an hour, that's awesome. So I think the people that ended up staying here wanted to be a part of something bigger than just coming in and, serving tables or busting out prep. It's just more of it's more of an ecosystem, and everybody wants to be here. And it hasn't come without, we have been so short staffed before, never back of the house. That's never been an issue. But, front of the house, we really had to find people that wanted to be invested in what we were doing here. And, there's been all kinds of talk about now post-COVID, pre-COVID, you couldn't find anybody. People wouldn't even show up for interviews, let alone stages. And I definitely think that there's going to be a bigger pool to draw from. But a lot of people are also saying servers may be not wanting to be in the hospitality service anymore. They may want to go ahead and pursue that career that they were already working on, and then they were just picking up server shifts to help fill the gap. So there is talk of, is hospitality going to be completely dead? I don't think so, but I think it'll be interesting. I think it's going to be an interesting pool. And I still think there has to be changes with prices. Like, we have to be able to charge more. There's just a really big light being shown on this industry, in a way that hasn't been. And I feel like it's kind of been shown a little bit here and there, scandals and pay and things like that. So I just think we're being busted open. There's nothing to hide, and obviously some things need to change. I hope they do. I hope consumers understand why we have to charge more than we have been charging, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, interesting. And today's truth is still a truth, but it'll resemble something different tomorrow. The only thing that's
Totally.
certain right now is uncertainty, and it's kind of just relying back on those morals or that ethos that you work with. And I think that as I get to know you a little bit more and hear your stories, I'm seeing where the foundation of Annette is coming from. And your dad has played a very big influence on your life. But talk about Netzie.
Yeah. So Netzie, I mean, she had a huge impact on my life. Like I was saying, I grew up in a conservative family in Aggie land, and for college football fanatics, UT, University of Texas, was our biggest rival forever and ever. And that's where Netzie went to school. She would always wear her burnt orange jumpsuit to Thanksgiving when everybody had their maroon on. She was liberal. She was outspoken. She didn't have kids, though she desperately wanted them. So she treated us all like we were her children. And she was harsh.
She was your
She was
dad's
so
aunt?
loving.
Was she your dad's?
No, my mom.
Your mom's aunt.
My mom.
Okay. So your
Yeah.
great aunt. Okay.
Yeah, my great aunt. And, you know, in my family, we didn't talk about a lot of things that were uncomfortable. No politics at the table. After 1 year, I asked my mom who she voted for, and my mom said Bill Clinton, and my dad lost his shit. And so we were like, okay, no more politics. So a lot of things we didn't talk about, and she did. And I admired that. I loved it when she came to town because I knew that we were going to get to talk about things that maybe ruffled people's feathers. And I had an adult there that was going to stand up for me. She loved martinis. I always knew when the gin was getting put in the freezer that Netzie was coming. Which is just, you know, weird to think about. Like that's a memory of mine of, you know, Bombay Sapphire in the freezer. Netzie's coming to town. So
what was up with her tamales?
Oh, so she didn't make them. She was a shit cook, but she always brought them with her. So she brought kolaches and tamales from her hometown, Ganado, which is in West Texas. And they were the best. And it just became a really big memory for us. You know, it was every night before Thanksgiving we would have tamales and Frito pie. And that was something that she brought. She also, her and her husband would show up on Christmas morning at 3 a.m. and sit in their car until we woke up to come downstairs. And so they could be there. There was just, you know, this passion and this fierceness, and she was sharp and brilliant. And, she just left a really, really big impact. I think on a lot of people.
Hence the name of the restaurant, Annette.
Yeah.
Was that just a no-brainer, or were you kicking around other names?
I felt like that was the one I originally wanted, but I think we kicked around probably 20 different names with all different, you know, family members and friends. And I don't think Annette was initially chosen from anybody, which is what I went with, which is a very Netzie thing to do. It was like, cool, I just want to see what you guys had to say. This is what I wanted to do anyways. So it just, I don't know, it just felt right. And, you know, I imagine her sitting at the bar all the time. She would be here. She would be sitting at the bar having a martini. When her husband passed away, she would play Scrabble by herself every single night and watch Seinfeld and drink martinis. Like, she was just one of the most self-confident and secure people, and that's something that I look up to for sure.
Damn it, I would have loved to play Words with Friends with Netzie.
She would have been a maniac.
Gotten all over that. Let's rewind a little bit to your time spent in Paonia, Colorado at Locavore Bed and Breakfast. First of all, I love Paonia. Big B's is there, and there's just so many great things. And you see Jeff Schwartz and the farming life and what's going on in the areas. And just, I mean, it's where you want to be, or where I want to be anyway, especially like a summer solstice night and hanging out around the campfire and the stories of the folks. But were you one of those kids that went through Paonia, and we see them there now? They're kind of just working their way through town, and there's a lot of folks from Michigan that come in through there, and they set up shop for a little while, but they get a taste of that rural life, and especially in Colorado, it's very contagious. But what'd you take away from that farming time?
Yeah, I mean, Paonia is probably one of the most special places. We weren't in Carbondale yet. My husband's from Carbondale, and we had been farming in Pennsylvania together. We were over the East Coast. We were just ready for a break. So we found Dava's place, Fresh and Wild, and I loved farming. I also wanted to get back into cooking. I burned out as a spotted pig after 2.5 years, 3 years, and I was ready to get back in. So this kind of married the two. And I had never even been to Paonia. I never had even really heard of it. Nelson was like, yeah, it's this real hippy dippy town that has high country news, you know. That's kind of like what they're known for. So we applied and we moved out to a yurt right away when the season started. And I think it is ingrained in me. I think I still have friends from there. It has such an interesting mix of people there. I think because of High Country News, kind of brought in a bunch of young people who wanted to write about environmental issues, and it's a really great newspaper. And then you just have this insane fertile land, and I mean, it's unlike any other experience. And I think it definitely opened my heart up to different ways to live and different types of people, and just kind of made me rethink even the food system and what we're doing. And we were just out there for the season, so I think we were there March until August or September, something like that. And we needed a little bit more, social interaction. So we went to Carbondale, which is not that much more. But I think it informed a lot of the way I cook now, for sure.
Interesting. With being kind of learning how to be a steward of the land and sourcing and what products are available in your region, in what sense did that shape some of your cooking methods?
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure it helps you think through seasons, because it's really easy when you're in a kitchen and everything's getting delivered in a box and you're not really seeing anyone or anything or making a connection. When I was at the Spotted Pig, it was incredible, but we got the best of the best produce, and I didn't understand what it took to get that kind of produce. If we got arugula that wasn't up to April standard, it got, sent back. No way. Like, we would not keep that. So I think for me, it was really important to see, if it's a year with too much rain, this is what your arugula is going to look like. If it's a year where this insect is, ravaging, this is what it's going to look like. And understand that those farmers still need to sell those things. So I feel like it made us a little bit more creative. If something shows up from a farm that we just got I'm not going to call them out, but we just got some broccoli rabe that's super bolted, and, he's like, I got to sell this. I'm like, that's great. We'll use it. Yeah. In my mind, we were going to grill it, but now we're going to make a pesto out of it. Not a big deal. Mm-hmm. So I think coming from a kitchen that was so strict and so perfect and all about perfection, it was really important for me to see the other side and recognize how much work goes into something, even if it doesn't come out perfectly, because we can't control a lot of things. So I think it just really helps us get more creative in the kitchen.
Yeah, and waste too. I mean, number twos are just as delicious as the ones with no blemishes, right?
Totally, yes. And jams. I mean, you can preserve anything. Sure. So that was a big part, of preservation on the farm. And I think every kitchen should do it. And I think a lot of people are really conscious of it. Yeah. But I felt like I needed to be in it and be on the other side of it and trying to sell it and recognizing if somebody didn't buy it, how much it hurt, the production.
Thanks for getting geeky with me. I love this type of talk. Yeah. One of the things that I learned from Jeff Schwartz at Big B's is, at first blush, you'd look at Big B's just being a great apple orchard, and they work well with apples. But if you dig in a little bit more to the mindset of really what those orchards are about, is going from soil back to soil again. The full circle in the life of produce. And so when Jeff is working with the soil, and then he's got the apples, and the apples turn into a juice, and then it turns into a cider, and then it turns into a vinegar, and then it turns into a mulch, and then back into the soil again. He doesn't want to leave any bit of that apple unused. And when when that resonates with you on how to do that and how to do that with your food and your thought process, I think you got the world licked at that point.
I totally agree. I think, it's all about perspective, and it's important to put yourself in other people's shoes and understand. And that's a huge part of our ecosystem are the farmers and the ranchers. And if you can't put yourself in their position or understand how they do their job, I don't think you can do your job as well as we do on this side.
Yes. The three things that you built Annette off of, what are those three things? I think they're all just elegant and very simple, too.
Oh, is it to nourish our guests and honor our producers and treat everybody as if they're a guest in our dining room.
Yes, it's so very simple. Sit, drink, and eat, and be your guest. And that's really that's kind of just how you grew up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's so many restaurants opening, and everybody is trying to find their niche. And when I was opening Annette, everybody's like, "Well, what kind of food are you going to do?" And I'm like, "I don't know, food that I like to cook." And they're like, you can't tell media that, you have to make a stand. You have to stand out or you're not going to make it in this market. And that really pissed me off because I'm like, why can't we just do honest, good, simple food and have people come and eat it and understand it? And luckily, I think luckily that happened for us.
Why can't I have delicious potato salad that I really like, And I think that it's being recognized right now. What do you think? Is it weird to have like somebody know stuff about you, like a stranger, and interview you and have a conversation? Do you enjoy that type of thing? It's an interesting thing, isn't it?
It is. I mean, especially I feel like for a cook, our position is a little bit more behind the scenes. But I would say, since opening Annette, our kitchen's so open and it's so small, and I've had to learn to like talk better with people because I'm used to just keeping, I would rather have my back turned and just grill. But once I started having connections with our guests, it just made Annette that much more special to me. So, and I think I've done like 5 podcasts, and they were the first 5 podcasts I've ever done in my life in the past 2 weeks. And so it's been a learning process, but Andrew Friedman read that little piece off our website to me, and it caught me so off guard that I couldn't stop crying in the middle of the podcast. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, this is good. These are good conversations to have. It's just easy to forget sometimes.
Yeah, it's cleansing. You do actually need to update your website because you have semifinalists. Now you're a finalist.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. And you just what you want to do is just put your nose down and get back to work and get all of your employees back in there. Where do you stand right now? Let's talk a little food, and then we'll let you go. But your time today has just been so valuable, and thank you for showing up for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's going down in the food? What are you serving? Is curbside, delivery? What's happening with you?
Yeah, all of the above. So we've been doing curbside. I think we got shut down on the 13th or something like that, and I think the 15th we started curbside, and we're doing delivery as well. And we're doing that. We're doing dinner Wednesday through Sunday, and then brunch on Saturday, Sundays as well. So it's given us a chance to keep making food, keep cooking. We were doing lunch, and we weren't that busy. We weren't, it felt like a lot of hours, and it's hard to keep morale up right now. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I decided that we would say yes to more meals for frontline workers and do that during the day, and then just focus on dinner and brunch during the weekdays and in the later hours. So, it's been going well. It's allowed me to, I think, have 20% of my employees, which is really a depressing number, but it's kept, all my salary guys, all my people on health insurance, still on all of those. And I think we've brought back 2 people off of unemployment since we've started. So, the hope is that we can just keep doing this. We were really, really busy off the start, and then you kind of just see this crazy roller coaster. No week is the same. So we're just trying to figure it out.
The latest James Beard announcement probably put a little shot in the arm right now, I would imagine.
You know what? We had our slowest day we've had yet yesterday, so I'm not totally sure. You never know.
You don't ever know. And
nothing's guaranteed.
Right. So how is your menu pared down quite a bit right now?
Yeah, it is. So we're doing meals for 2. Annette is originally a small share plate type of restaurant, but that's not what people are looking for right now. So we're doing meals for two. We're doing alcohol basically at cost because I just want to keep my vendors, going, and I want to keep my favorite winemakers making wine. So that's that's what we want to do. We want to keep people fed, and we want to keep our farmers, our ranchers, our winemakers, our vendors still in a job. And, profit is not a thing right now. If we can just keep going like this, then I'll be happy.
Survival right now. So let's go past survival. Even if they said, okay, Caroline, you can open the doors now. It's obviously going to be with restraints, 50% capacity, everybody masks up, sanitation there. Do you want to jump into that right away, or do you want to wait to see, where are you going with that?
Yeah, no, I don't. We're doing 50% capacity right now in sales. And I had a couple people kind of jump at me and say, that's a privilege. You're lucky you're doing that. And I'm absolutely not complaining about doing 50%. We're doing it safely and healthily. And I think if we open our doors, we allow ourselves to be vulnerable to this virus that could shut us down. So if we're only allowed to do 50% capacity, I want to keep us safe and just keep doing what we're doing. The thought of shutting down because somebody gets sick right after we reopen is that's terrifying.
Worst case. And there's Chef Dana Rodriguez would echo exactly what you're saying right now. And I think you'll know when the time is right for you. This is
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I mean, I just listen. I set you up there, but that's the thing is you will know when your baby's ready to go back.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I don't think a governor saying, we're here, we're on the ground, we know what's working, we know what our fears are, and so I think that we'll just keep going with our gut, which is what we've been founded on since day one.
Yeah. You've got a lot of life left in you. That's for damn sure. And you're going to do some great things. It's just so good that you lead with your heart at all times. You're thinking of your employees constantly, your guests constantly, probably a lot less of yourself. Are you taking care of yourself, Caroline? Are you making sure that you're pruning the tree and that the trunk is nice and healthy and that any of those branches that may need to be tended to, you're doing that right now?
I'm not. But I think that's something that I'm definitely working towards. I think it's baby steps. I was saying, the first 3 weeks, I'm a big runner. I do a lot of yoga. I couldn't do any of that. I was too, I was too in my head. I was too in Annette. So every week I'm trying to add a little bit more, maybe another hour of sleep, maybe a Zoom yoga. And I do recognize that if I don't keep myself healthy, that this is all for nothing. Yeah. So I think that's definitely the next step.
Can't lean on one of your branches if it's going to break.
Totally.
Make sure you're doing that. Now, tomorrow for us, we're doing COVID. It's for the Angel Relief Fund. And I think you're going to say something sweet about that. But Project Angel Heart's something that's close to you.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's an incredible organization, and especially what you guys are doing tomorrow and where the funds are going. I am super blown away that people can pivot so quickly to help out people in need right now.
For sure. What's your participation with them?
So we haven't done a ton with them, but we definitely support them. And, I think any money that can go to a great charity at this moment and every little bit helps is super, super important.
It's interesting. I see your Hop Alley T-shirt, and it's cool places to go in town, and that's a really fun place to go to. But shout-outs. Who are you seeing that's doing some great stuff out there right now? And just on a positive, who's inspiring you right now?
I mean, Hop Alley for sure. I think that they are crushing it. They have an insane online ordering system that we kind of copied after them, and it's inspiring to see people pushing the envelope right now. Mm-hmm. Also, I haven't been to Spuntino yet, but I know that they're doing Epic Takeout, and I am inspired by that couple. They're, another young, small restaurant that's doing whatever they have to do. I don't think Q House is still doing takeout at the moment, but they were absolutely crushing it when they were open, and I'm psyched to see them reopen their doors for sure.
Yeah, cool. Your time with us has been so great. There's sometimes when you interview people, you go, man, I wish I would have never interviewed them or talked to them or met them. I mean, you've seen but listen, you showed up. It was such a great time talking to you. I can't wait to be in there in person. I've eaten there a few times. It's a great atmosphere. Stanley Marketplace before this was just really catching its stride, is what I would say.
Yeah.
Great things inside that marketplace. But we'll get back at it, and it's going to be a little bit of time, but soon we will do it. Is she still there with us?
Oh, no. Greg, I think we lost her. Hold on a second.
Right at the end there. Dang it. That's what happens, huh? Technology. But we got okay, so we'll have to thank Chef Carolyn Glover right now for being on the Modern Eater stream. I don't know what happened there, but if we get her back, we'll say goodbye. But we'll properly thank her now. Chef, and good luck to you. Nominee, finalist in the James Beard Awards Mountain Region. So,
and just a really nice person.
Oh, my goodness. You're a great person. All right, moving forward, and again, thanks, Chef. That was not the ending that we wanted to have. But Marvin Williams from Abrusci's is going to come up. He's doing some cool creative stuff. Again, we're from Molly's Spirits today. Molly's Liquid Lounge takes place at 5:30 p.m. today. The guest that Molly's Liquid Lounge has on tonight at 5:30, good stuff.
Oh, man, you recognize a couple of these names? Al Laws from Laws Whiskey House and Todd Leopold, maybe?
That's going to be a good show. 5:30. Catch that on Molly's Spirits stream on their Facebook page. We'll continue on. Rebecca Leiden's going to join us, one part of the Sugar Sisters.
Mm-hmm. Sugar, baby.
She's going to join us along with Larry Herz from OCN Eats and Dr. Sara Metz, Code 4 Counseling. Lots going on right now, but tomorrow – I got to ask you, you're going to want to tune into this one. It'll be an extended The Modern Eater show. COVID 2020 from 2 to 5 p.m. And we've got a lineup for you. Give my computer here. If you could show my computer screen, I'm going to show you COVID and how you can make sure that you're tuned in tomorrow. We've actually got an event page, a virtual event. So you're going to want to get in here and just search out COVID, benefiting the CRF, Colorado Restaurant Foundation Angel Relief Fund. And just a really cool organization doing great work for hospitality members here in Colorado. And the Angel Relief Fund is locked and loaded to not only take your donations, but to give out grants to folks that are in need in the service industry. But you can see here are our guest chefs, Chef Carrie Baird, Chef Brother Luck, and Chef Alex Seidel. They all came to the forefront and said, absolutely. We've also got live music going. The Rev's going to tune in. And J. Robert Miller along with Dave Palett. And then we've got Rob Drapkin. And while we've got Rob Drapkin we caught up with on the stream just a couple of days ago, I think I have a video of Rob here. If I don't, I can show it to you on the COVID stream. But I want you to go to this COVID event page and just click going. And we'll see you back here tomorrow, 2 p.m. at Studio Kitchen, Colorado. And this is a little bit of Rob Drapkin right now.
How long shades this motel, keeping me in bed, reading the news, just trying to stay strong. I need to just get up. You take a deep breath, keep it together, 'cause it's some beautiful day. Sun on my face, feeling okay. Don't let it get away. It's a beautiful day.
Just one of the performers tomorrow live on the COVID stream. And we've got some talented people. Guess who else? Sean Kenyon from Williams and Graham. We're going to jump to Williams and Graham via the stream. And Sean's going to make us a delicious drink. Kevin Galaba's going to join us in studio at Studio Kitchen, do some cocktailing for us, as well as jump into fruition with Alex Seidel and Chef Brother Luck and Chef Carrie Baird will be in studio with us tomorrow, along with Hazel Miller, the house band. Dude, that is so much going on tomorrow.
There's There's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on. Hazel Miller, I took a selfie with her. It's my new profile picture.
And it's gotten some good play on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but that's anything. I could put out the most brilliant Facebook post in the world, and I get 2 likes. And if I just put up a new profile picture, everybody thinks that's the greatest thing.
Greatest thing ever. I want to do a little bit of news here real quick before we get to our next guest, Marvin Williams from Abrusci's. But this is a piece that I came across. Hillstone. Have you ever been to a Hillstone restaurant? You may know them as Cherry Creek Grill down in Cherry Creek. That's a Hillstone restaurant. Hillstone over off of York Street or University, one of the two.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Well, upon reopening in Texas, this is what Hillstone is up to. If I can get the volume up. There we go.
But if you go inside, you won't find any employees wearing face masks, and that's company policy. No face masks or face coverings of any kind. That's what a back-of-the-house employee at a Hillstone Restaurant Group establishment in Dallas was told last week, as restaurants prepared to reopen at 25% capacity. That employee, who did not want to be on camera, expressed discomfort and was told to think about it, and then was removed from the schedule. Another employee says some agreed to work because they were offered a 40-hour work week, but were told if they declined, they wouldn't be eligible for rehire. She says management also told her that face masks don't complement the restaurant group's style or level of hospitality. Infectious disease epidemiologist Diana Cervantes calls Hillstone's decision concerning.
So it is really important to be able to wear those face coverings, especially if you can't keep that 6-foot social distancing, which of course when you go to a restaurant, that is very hard to maintain.
She points to the governor's minimum standard health protocols for restaurants, which encourages social distancing first. But if that's not feasible, it says measures such as face coverings should be rigorously practiced. Hillstone management also points to the law, writing on its website, current orders do not require our staff or guests to wear face masks. If you are concerned about your safety in this respect, we hope you will join us at a later date. In Dallas, Brooke Rogers, CBS 11 News.
Okay, so, all right. So, first of all, I really like the Hillstone Group, and they make some delicious food and very, very tight, well-thought-out restaurants, run very, very well. So great organization. Next thing is that we don't know what it's going to look like upon reopening restaurants. And Texas getting ahead of the game right now with some of the reopenings. But the face mask thing, that's going to be an interesting thing if you can actually have an experience or hospitality with face masks. I think that more and more people are going to want to see face masks on their servers. And that's something that I didn't even think I would get to that conclusion.
I mean, I don't know, me personally, and we're standing by for Marvin here from Abrusci's. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I truly don't. The more I think about it, I can kind of see each side of it a little bit to where I would think, I really wouldn't want to sit there and dine if my server's wearing a mask. But then at the same time, I think I'm a realist to where it's like, okay, I'm going to the supermarket anyway, and I'm touching things, and you're doing stuff that.
Well, what's going to be interesting is the media and how media is used during the times of the reopening, because I think that there will be a lot of people out there that'll be highlighted, just like Hillstone, that'll be shamed for doing certain things that are completely within their rights to do at that point in time. There's no right way of reopening. So, it's going to be interesting to see how people act and react. And the last thing I want is these little Yelp minions out there.
Yeah.
Jumping on their critic or review train
and they
of
will.
Whatever it is,
and they will.
Using their social media for that. So if you have a comment about that and you're watching the stream today, go to the Modern Eater Facebook page and click on our live stream there that we're doing right now and sound off. We'll take your comments on that. And again, tomorrow, COVID 2020, benefiting the Angel Relief Fund from the Colorado Restaurant Foundation. We hope you can join us tomorrow. We sure put together a great show for you.
It's going to be fun for the people that do tune in, I can tell you that much.
Again, the Modern Eater show today at Molly's Spirits, but tonight they'll step off sharply at 5:30 p.m. when Molly's Liquid Lounge goes into full effect, and Al Laws and Todd Leopold will be guests on Molly's Liquid Lounge tonight. In the meantime and in between time, we've got this gentleman. We'll jump to the parking lot.
It's awful quiet, man, and I'm hoping that it's just because he's not talking.
Well, let's see. Marvin, are you there? Hey, Marv.
I don't know if you'll believe me or not, but I did a test with him, and I could hear him fine.
I believe he's not muted or anything else like that?
Nah, he's not muted. Man, technology. He's in the part, and that's why, I was specific.
He's showing us the truck right now.
Yeah,
All right, let's do the play-by-play. You
okay.
can be Marvin.
I talked to him. So this little food truck is called Pablitos, and it's named after one of their Abrusci's back-of-the-house guys named Pablo. All the folks over at Abrusci's. And, Marvin, if you can hear us, I'm doing this because we can't hear you.
You can't.
Play with your microphone, Marvin. So everybody at Abrusci's has a nickname where you just add the ito after it, right? So it's Marvito. Pablo is Pablito.
So mine would be Gregito.
Gregito. Do you know what the ito means?
Little or something.
Yeah. It shrinks it down. So anyway, they had planned on doing this Pablito breakfast burrito truck, and it's just a breakfast burrito that they're doing in the morning. And the hours, he told me, but I'm gonna use my brain. It's somewhere around 6 to noon, 6 to 11, something like that is when you can get a breakfast burrito. Their featured breakfast burrito is called the Best Damn Burrito. So after he told me that, I said, well, why do you need any other burritos if that's the Best Damn Burrito? Right there, perfect.
You got a cool truck.
That's the menu, yeah. So Pablito, this is at Abrusci's Fire and Vine. Our good buddy Marvin Williams is the cameraman right now. And they have it parked. So there's the front of the restaurant, and they have it parked just right there, right in the front. He says it's not moving, even when they reopen. I don't know what that means, but, that's what he said. But there it is.
All burritos.
All burritos. I think there's 4 or 5 different burritos on the menu. The only one I can remember is the one called the Best Damn Burrito. But there it is.
Oh, we're going inside.
Yeah, there's the inside. Right there. They're doing most of the work in Abrusci's, and then they walk it out.
They built this business just...
No, they had it going ahead of time. Yeah, this was planned. Now they and that's that little caricature right there.
Is that
at the
Marvin?
Bottom. No, they planned on doing this anyway. Reason being, Marvin says, is that they couldn't really find a good breakfast burrito in that little area where Abrusci's Fire and Vine is. And you know the area better than I do, Greg. I don't even know where that is because my brain doesn't work like that. But they thought, we want to put a place where someone can swing by in the morning and pick up a breakfast burrito. And so that's Pablito right there. Pablito.
That's awesome.
That is awesome, man. Who doesn't love a good breakfast burrito?
Well, and that's why I wish I was talking to Marvin. Get that right. Marvin, if you can hear us, get it right up on that menu. Let's see what you got there. I wonder if he should disconnect and come back.
Try leaving the room, Marvin. Try leave that room, go out, and then come back in, yeah?
That'll give us another opportunity.
Does he hear me?
I don't know.
I'm going to text him, man. I'm putting you back on.
That's cool. Tomorrow, again, don't miss out. It's going to be COVID 2020. In studio with us will be Chef Carrie Baird, and congratulations to Carrie Baird, who is on that short list of finalists, along with Chef Kelly Whitaker, Chef Dana Rodriguez, Chef Caroline Glover, who you saw Caroline on the show just a little bit earlier today, and Chef Carrie Baird. So I'm perfectly comfortable with any one of those chefs taking it home for us.
Oh, absolutely.
In the mountain region.
And it's
just hope it comes from Colorado. That'll really be a kick in the...
I was going to say, Colorado. We want Colorado chef at the top of that list.
And along with them tomorrow, we'll have Alex Seidel. And Alex Seidel will be cooking at Fruition with us. Actually, he's starting out the show at 2 p.m. So Alex Seidel, and we also have his Psalm, Andrew, who will be on with us as well. We've got some great musical acts, The Rev. We've got Rob Drapkin, and we've got
Johnny Miller, J. Robert Miller. Some folks know him as Johnny Miller, though.
And Hazel Miller, man.
And Hazel Miller. She's going to be in studio, man. Do you know?
What is Marvin just forget?
I have no idea.
Look at
just so you know, we have a yellow light on. We're still going, but it's a yellow light, and it's internet. And it's internet related.
Oh.
I haven't shown he's still doing Pablito stuff, so I'll pop him back on there. I'm hoping this light turns green for us. But that's Pablito. That's Abrusci's.
And that's just right out there inside of their parking lot. And I think that's Young's Field, the name of that street. I'll Google Abrusci's right now. If you're in that general area, first of all, Abrusci's Fire and Vine, you've probably been to eat there before if that's in your neighborhood. But let's see. Abrusci's, where is it at?
Yeah.
A-B-R.
Stop by and get some pasta. The burritos are done for today, but stop by and get yourself some pasta, man. Abrusci's does it right. And our good buddy Crazy Johnny Irvin from Gluten Free Things, you'll find his product all over the menu over there too. And if Abrusci's is using that, then you know it's good.
Okay, are we going to kill him off, or are we going?
Yeah,
to...
he's
I
done.
can text him.
You know, we're waiting now. Technically, we're waiting on Larry Herz.
Oh, Larry's going to be here.
Can we talk a little bit more about the COVID 2020 tomorrow? Because there's so much going on that I feel like we should talk about it a little bit more.
Well, you're welcome to talk about it. What's your most? What are you looking forward to the most? Do you want to hear what Carrie Baird and Chef Brother Luck are going to do in studio?
I would love to hear that.
So what they're going to do is, and it's very interesting because Brother Luck suggested this. It's kind of a tag team or a relay. So what we'll do is we'll have two different dishes. So think of this. The first dish, Brother's going to start, right? Mm-hmm. He'll cook for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll say time. And at that point in time, he steps off, and Chef Carrie Baird's going to come in. And she'll start cooking for 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll call time. So they'll relay back and forth 2-3 times, and the chef that started the plate won't plate the plate. Mm-hmm. The other chef will plate the plate. So whatever the vision was for the chef starting out, it's going to take so many left-hand turns to where the final plate will not probably be what they resemble. So what do we have to do? We got to go grocery shopping for a mystery black box.
Well, that's why that was my question. Is like, so ingredients-wise, is one, are we deciding what ingredients they get for, because they're both going to collaborate on one dish that we just don't know what it's going to end up. So are we putting just a bunch of stuff in a box for them, or are they picking out their own stuff?
Nope, we're picking out their stuff.
We're picking out their stuff. Man, I think I'm looking forward to seeing Hazel Miller play, because how many people are going to be able to say that they were part of that?
She's a Denver legend for sure.
How
are we doing with the stream health?
It's the same. It's just spotty and it's yellow, but it's still going. So remember the other night when it was yellow for like 15 minutes and then it went back green? I mean, that's all I'm doing. I'm praying on it. And what did I tell you earlier? I said we went from hundreds up and down to less than half that up and down in the same 10 minutes.
If you guys missed the Caroline Glover interview this afternoon, that's a rewinder. That's one you want to go back on. First of all, just a very talented young chef. She's got her whole life ahead of her. Mm-hmm. She's already getting great accolades. But you can see it's that ethos. And as you've been watching the Modern Eater show and you've seen Chef Dan Asher and Chef Kelly Whitaker and you go on down the list of just the heavy hitters here in Colorado. Mm-hmm. The common theme is know your food, know where it's coming from, care about your food, don't have any waste, utilize all of your ingredients, and put it forth in a fashion to where it's very, very the environment is conducive to having a good time and eating and drinking. Mm-hmm. And boy, she's doing a great job there at Annette. And it's just heartbreaking. You see a chef like that who should be rejoicing that, and people should be able to come in and eat her food right now. Mm-hmm. Say this is a James Beard finalist right now for the Mountain Region. And she said yesterday it was one of her slowest days ever.
Days, yeah. And there's a lot of chefs that we've talked to around town that carry a lot of weight that say, listen, even if we open up and it's limited capacity, I don't want to get down with that. And you can't help but, appreciate that chef even more because, in my estimation anyway, those chefs, that kind of share that opinion, they're the full package because they know that if you go into a restaurant and there's plexiglass up and there's masks on and then there's a hand washing station in the middle, part of the dining experience, especially at some of these smaller places like Annette, that's part of it, and they don't want people coming in and trying to enjoy themselves in that environment, and I respect that.
Just entering the stream, and I think this is probably going to be one of the next very upcoming and talented chefs, and actually from Stanley Marketplace. Can you guess who I'm thinking of?
From Stanley Marketplace, and it's not Carolyn Glover.
Right.
I'm trying to think of the restaurants that I know are in there.
It's not a restaurant.
Give me but it's a James Beard.
No, I think she's going to be one of the next up and coming talented chefs here in Colorado.
Oh, yes, I do. Raquel Serber. We call her Rocky.
Yep, Rocky. She is she's a very talented person, and she is over at the Juniper Pig, right?
The Juniper Pig, that's right.
Which is a butcher shop.
And the last time we went by there, man, she just the nicest gal, you know. And I know that we say that a lot, but we meet all the nicest people in the world, man. The hospitality industry, Greg, specifically restaurants, because I've never been a hotel guy, and there's a lot of different hospitality. Man, the restaurant business, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, are some of the most down-to-earth and real people you get, because otherwise, if you're in that business and you're not real and you don't want to work hard and you don't have pride in what you do, then you're not in that business for very long, you know. So it kind of the two kind of go hand in hand, and Rocky, she falls under that umbrella big time.
Now I want to see what Rocky's been up to. I'm looking at the Juniper Pigs Facebook site, and I mean, just all this artisanal deliciousness she puts in her meat counter. And
show some of their pictures. I'll pop them up here.
Yeah, sure. This is the Juniper Pig in Stanley Marketplace. But look at that. I mean, she's doing a great job, and she's taking over all the sourcing.
Mm-hmm. When we were there last, she
put together. Remember what sandwich was?
Wasn't it a Cuban?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Cuban. God, she threw the Cubans on the grill. I mean, you couldn't tell her no. You know, you couldn't say. I tried to say no because I'm that guy. You know, I don't want to put anybody out, but she would not take no for an answer. They were delicious. Look at that stuff, man. They've got good stuff going on over there.
That's the Juniper Pig.
They really do.
While we're standing by for Larry Herz, who should be pulling up any minute right now, we'll go over what he did for lunch today. You're going to tell me to do that? That's where I was going with that.
Were you?
Yeah, you read my mind.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions, getting your restaurant ready, getting your bar ready to go. You got to clean out that stagnant. You want to hear terrible millions of gallons of draft beer has to be poured out. Going to waste in barrels right now because it can't get to market.
The whole thing, man. There's
millions of gallons, Jay.
Well, I mean,
Jeff Rourke can't do anything about that, but what he can do is get that icky, yucky beer sentiment that's in your lines right now, just sitting there.
Yeah, he can get that all cleaned out and running.
$10 per line.
$10 per line?
Per line.
God, you spend more than that at the coffee place.
Get a professional in there. Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions, 720-272-3809. Trust me, they will be drinking beer in your restaurant and bar again. 720-272-3809. Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions. Rebecca Leiden will be coming up here at 3 p.m., the Sugar Sisters Bakery. And
I hope they're bringing some stuff, man.
Are you got a sugar little fit going on there?
Man, I always have and it's a new thing. You know, I don't know if you know me or not, but I've never been a sweets guy, except for, now when I say I've never been, except for the past 2 years, about 2 years. I have this weird thing with sugar that most people have had their whole lives, and unfortunately for me, mine was
What's your go-to?
Reverse. My go-to is anything chocolate. So here's what I like to do.
Oh, God.
I know.
And I bet you it has something to do with ice cream, bran flakes, and then some.
Well, you go close. Yeah, cereal, right? So I'm on this cereal thing to where what I try to do is make a semi-healthy cereal my dessert, right? I'm trying to fool my brain into thinking that this cereal is my dessert.
Yeah.
Well, not good for me, but better than a piece of chocolate cake, right? But so you can get the sweet, and then but here's the problem. Is then what I end up doing is pouring a bowl of nice cereal. Let's just call it bran flakes with raisins in it, right? Something like that, to where
that's called Raisin Bran.
Yeah, you're getting
bran flakes with raisins.
Well, you know, I'm just saying, you know. So the problem is though is that now I poured the cereal and I go, here's my dessert. This is after dinner, right? So I'm like, here's my dessert. The problem is now I'm incorporating other things, like the cereal's not enough. So what I do is I'll take some of John Irvin's cookie dough, right, and I'll peel off spoons of that and I'll dump it in there, You know,
just little ploppers.
Like little ploppers in there. And I'll tell you what, man. I mean, it is delicious.
No, it's not.
It is, but that's a lot of sugar.
With the milk, too?
Well, not dairy milk. Because I'm on
nuts
this weird thing
that.
where I
So
don't
what
want
kind of milk?
dairy milk, even though I'll oat milk.
Not bad.
I'm on to oat milk. I did almond milk for a while. I don't know,
Oat milk.
Oat milk.
And that's your dessert.
That's my dessert.
All right. Some people just get a pint of ice cream.
I went through that. Because then I did the same thing when it came to calorie intake.
I get it.
And I started to.
It looks like the stream's pretty healthy right now.
Well, that's good.
Is it?
It's still yellow.
Is it still yellow?
Still yellow.
All right. We'll see what happens.
You know, I know, right?
You guys, here's what matters is the health of tomorrow's stream. When COVID 2020 comes on. What is COVID 2020, you ask?
I do ask.
It is a benefit for the Angel Relief Fund. Here's what's cool about the Angel Relief Fund. It's not only, so we'll be asking tomorrow for some donations, but we're also going to create awareness because there has been some very sizable donations to the Angel Relief Fund as of lately. Just last week, an announcement came down. Actually, it was on the Modern Eater show last Friday. Mary Mino from the Colorado Restaurant Foundation, keeper of the funds, came on and said the Kemper family donated $1 million. But here's the catch. We don't want to see that sitting around. We want it activated inside of the community. So restaurant workers, and we have a link up on the Modern Eater Facebook page to where if you would like to see if you qualify, and it seems to me like they're just trying to hook people up that are in need and relief out there immediately in the tune of like $1,000, like a big deal.
I mean, I'm one of them. I need to get on there and do it because, you know, I lost both of my serving jobs, bartending jobs.
Yeah, you did. You'd qualify, and you should. You should.
If anybody deserves it.
You just kind of don't want to be like, hey,
me.
that's Jay Parker. What?
Well, a little bit. You know, I don't, you know, they might show up to the kitchen with the check. And you're like, well, here, we were coming by anyway.
We could just stop short with Carrie Baird, Brother Luck in studio, right? Just say that's the show.
You could.
And be fine with it.
You could. I mean, that's enough.
Add on Hazel Miller in studio.
Sure.
Bonus, right?
Yeah.
We've got more. Kevin Gallibo will be in studio.
Friends
making
and family.
cocktails, right? So there you go. That's the in studio. Just painted the picture. Whatever they do. It's called internet.
Yeah.
Via the internet.
I have a different word for it
We'll go to Fruition Restaurant where guess who will be in there?
Big Alex Seidel.
Chef Alex Seidel will be cooking for us at 2 p.m. tomorrow while Brother Luck and Carrie Baird are commenting.
You know, it's going to be a special day.
Don't you?
It really is.
And you'll need wine for that, too. Alex Seidel's Psalm, Andrew, will be joining Alex at Fruition. And then we'll go to California. Why not? We're getting really ambitious. We're going to hit a winery in California. Hook up those wines, do a little bit of pairing, then we'll come back and do some cocktails. Guess with who? Sean Kenya.
Sean Kenya, Williams and Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll jump over via internet.
Well, not only will
Williams and Graham,
will Hazel Miller be doing her thing in studio.
Do you know what bourbon Sean's going to be using?
Woody Creek
Distillery.
Yeah.
And then we'll head back into the kitchen, and we're going to do a round robin, a back and forth, a relay. A little other will jump back in, redirect it the way he wants it. Then Chef Carrie Baird's going to come back in and finish it herself and plate it. They can pivot however they want to.
Well, Greg,
you could start out with chicken, right? A roasted chicken.
You could.
It could end up being fried in a pan or finished that way. Could turn into chicharrones. It could turn into all kinds of stuff.
No, to bring some Tupperware from home.
No, we're going to eat it right there.
Well, I know,
right
but you know, if there's going to be a little extra, I think.
And more music, too. Good acts. Rob Drabkin. What a guy. It's a beautiful day.
That's a fun song, man. He played that song. He's had that song for a while, right? That's a fun song. It's a wonderful day.
Oh, my God.
It's something like that, man.
Yeah, it is something like that. This last week, great guests on the show. If you've missed any or all of the Modern Eater programming, and I'm talking to you right there, head over to our YouTube. Our YouTube page, it needs a little help. Let's just say that. We don't promote it quite enough. But we need 3 more people. I'm going to look right now.
I just put up a graphic, so if that doesn't do it, I don't know what will.
Help us out here, people. 3 more folks. I think we're at 97 subscribers. That's dismal.
Does that not sound ridiculous to you compared to the content that's on our page?
Yeah,
Are we missing something?
Well,
am I missing something with the tagging or something like that?
It might be that it's like a private page.
And we don't know?
And we don't.
Man, I'll tell you what.
And we have no idea.
When your guests don't show up on time,
we got a whole liquor store
and the internet's
behind us,
and the internet's fighting you, man. That makes for a loosey goosey kind of show.
I'll tell you what, Larry Herz, man, he's on his way, but if he doesn't make it here soon, we've got a lot of work to do for tomorrow.
Man, a lot of work, including taking all of our stuff from here back to the kitchen
and reconfiguring the kitchen, with physical distancing in mind.
I've got an idea.
Oh no.
Of something to do.
Yes.
Oh man.
Hey, you know what time we start around here?
We live and breathe,
young man.
As we live and breathe.
I know. Start what? Come on over here. Put a headset on.
Throw that headset on, Larry.
No. He's got to stretch for. Larry's in the house stretching. Can you touch your toes?
Can I touch my toes?
Yeah.
You can see my toes.
I can see your toes. Hey, Larry. Good to see you. Hi, Greg. Is it what day is today? It's Thursday. It's not the weekend yet. Hey, did you hear about COVID? What we're doing tomorrow?
I don't hear anything.
Let me help you here. You don't hear anything?
No.
I bet you're looking good, man. Good to see you.
Oh, now I'm looking good.
Yeah, well, you're always looking good. It was the day with the sandals.
You don't like the sandals?
Shirt. No, I love it all. I love it all.
That's my weekend look.
Who am I? I can access like 4% of my closet because you know that weight you lost in January?
Yes.
I found it, man. But it'll be back off. I'll guarantee you. That's the way I
can coach you into losing weight.
Really? Right away?
My specialty.
Okay, we're going to do that on the show.
Okay. Right now?
That's your
right
specialty?
Here?
Well, I think we can get some points, but we've got half of the Sugar Sisters are coming.
Really?
Which half? Rebecca.
Becca, yeah.
Yeah.
We call her Becca.
Talk about
Larry's like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but when you say the word meth, I can interrupt anybody. He's like a version of Johnny Irvin.